This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. That's Trav. I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast, and we're giving you our opinions on 80s and 90s media. Make sure you contact us at overduehomeworkpodcast@gmail.com. Trav, how you doing?
Pretty good, Drew. Another day filled with Dragon Ball Z. So can't really complain about
We're
it.
right back to your days off recording episodes.
Yes,
so,
we are.
Hey,
So
that's
double
great.
whammy.
Double whammy.
Day
Whammy.
off, DBZ. How
DBZ
about you,
day.
Drew?
Really good. Put a screen door on the front of the house, so that was cool.
Boom. I did notice that when I walked
Nice.
up.
I'm glad you did. Cool. It doesn't quite match the exterior, but it's as close as we could get it.
Yeah.
And my 70-year-old father came and helped me with it, so that was great. Thanks,
Nice.
Dad.
I saw them today when I was going to get my haircut, but I don't think your mom knew who I was, but I waved to her.
Oh, nice.
They were getting in their truck by Planet Fitness.
Oh, yeah, they got a membership at Planet Fitness
Oh,
now.
okay,
Were they in their, like, old people workout stuff, which is, like, regular clothing, right?
Yes.
Don't old people just go, like, to work out in, like, cargo shorts or jeans, don't they? Right?
Definitely.
Regular clothing.
That fits the bill.
It fits the bill. If you want to get some names and facts about Dragon Ball Z, you can go back to our last DBZ episode and check that out. That was episode 31.
30.
32.
32.
32. So there you go. If you're not paying attention, listener, we're on episode 34 now. So, boom. Yeah, should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's get in that homework review. And, of course, we're doing DBZ, the Saiyan Saga, episodes 7 through 12. And we're going to do it a lot like last time, where it's going to be treated like one big episode.
One big episode.
It was cool. That's how the shows present themselves. And if you have the DVDs or Blu-rays, you should be watching the show on marathon mode.
Definitely.
That's the only way to watch
There
it.
is no other way to watch.
Unless you're trying to pick it up in the middle of a season and then you're like, flip
Yeah.
with the controller. And you're like, is this that episode? Is this that episode?
All right, I'm going to pick the episode.
It's going to pick the episode. But let's get into it, Trav.
Let's do it.
So, of course, the first episode is day one, and day one references Gohan doing his first day of training, right?
Yeah, for 6 months.
For 6 months. You give me the previously on DBZ, previously on Dragon Ball Z.
Previously on Dragon Ball Z, Goku's dead. and traveling on Snake Way. And Raditz is dead.
He's also dead.
But not before he called his Saiyan buddies Vegeta and Nappa.
He called them, right? He called them, basically.
With the scouter-ish.
With the scouter-ish thing. Piccolo and Gohan are off in the wilderness, and the rest of the group is looking for the Dragon Balls. That's helpful.
That's helpful.
That's definitely helpful.
Definitely helpful.
Definitely helpful.
For the weaklings.
Day one opens up with Piccolo abandoning Gohan in the wild, so that's a great start, right?
Great start.
Great start. Hey, kid, you're like 4.5. That's what we've established,
you're
right?
4.5. If you make it to 5, you've passed the training. If not, then you're more worthless than I was hoping.
I didn't even notice that he's given him 6 months to complete his training, so he'll be 5.
He'll be 5 years old.
Make it a 5, kid.
You'll be a man.
The first thing you'll need to do is to learn to survive on your own. Good job, Piccolo. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Well, what do? I don't have a bed or food.
You're going to have to figure it out, dude.
Figure it out. A lot of ground sleeping for
A lot
Gohan.
of ground sleeping, just in the middle of the ground.
Middle
Like,
of
this
the
looks
ground.
like a good place to lay down and go to sleep.
Oh, here's a comfy rock.
Here's a comfy rock. Let me put my head on it. Piccolo, of course, leaves to do his own training, but he's not actually going that far at this point.
No, not yet.
It's mostly for show right now. Gohan doesn't take this whole situation very, very well. He should be able to do it, right? He's half Saiyan.
Yeah, he should be able
And
to.
seemingly an extraordinary half Saiyan at that.
Yes,
Like,
definitely. Far more advanced than, for some reason, a full-blooded Saiyan is
Yeah.
at that age.
it is kind of weird how that becomes a thing. Like, all of a sudden, like, the hybridization of humans and Saiyans, like, creates even stronger Saiyans.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll go with it.
We'll go with it.
We'll go with it. I mean, it does help that you have Goku, like the strongest, besides Broly, besides, a couple other, like,
Right.
like the strongest Saiyan to ever have existed.
Basically, yes.
Basically.
That is definitely a good start in the DNA tree.
It is a good start. We get to go over to Kami's lookout, and he and Mr. Popo are seemingly confused as to why Piccolo would be not only helping save the Earth, but training Gohan while Goku is dead.
Yeah, pretty sus.
It is. Kami, I guess he kind of reasons that because he and Piccolo share the same... So Kami and Piccolo share like the same mind. They're like the same person, basically. So he can see his own death. Kami sees his own death, so his reasoning is Piccolo can see his own death. So he's training Gohan because Piccolo wants to pass some of his skills on to anybody at this point, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Before he dies. It's selfish and a little bit noble, right?
Yeah.
Selfish and a little bit noble, and it's kind of an FU to Gohan at this point.
Definitely.
It's definitely kind of an FU to Goku, right? Because
Definitely.
they're like main enemies.
Oh, main enemies.
Main enemies, and he's like, well, I'm going to train your kid to be like me. So,
yeah.
like, take that, Goku, right?
Yeah. Suck it.
I wish he would do like the Generation X. Yeah. If any of them would do that, it'd be Piccolo, right?
It would be Piccolo.
Suck it. Suck it. Back with Gohan in the wilderness, and he's chasing his shirt. This is only to establish his fear of heights. That's it.
Yes.
That's the only reason we see this. It's in keeping with the theme of Gohan being a complete wuss.
Total wuss.
And then Gohan gets the idea to follow a lizard to find shelter.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean,
Sure.
Sure. Why not? Sure.
You're 4.5. It's an idea. Roll with it.
Hey, it's a way better idea than I would have had as a 4.5-year-old.
Definitely.
I probably would have died in the first day.
I probably would have died in the first day.
If I was lucky enough to live past the first 12 hours.
True.
Who knows? So Goku, he's on Snake Way still, and the distance doesn't seem to be getting any shorter for him. So Goku decides to start taking large leaps to shorten his trip. Does this actually shorten his trip? Or should he just have kept on flying?
He should have just kept on flying or running.
Running?
The jumping is not a good idea.
So he stops flying because he thinks he's using too much energy.
Yep.
But he's still going to be making these giant leaps.
Yeah.
Why not just do less leaps, fly for like a little extra longer, and then run?
Exactly.
I don't know. So the story can happen. Because, of course, he falls off and is nearly sucked into a vortex to hell. A hell vortex, if you will. But he manages to make it back onto the path, and Goku says, I'll never do that again. Yeah, that's smart planning, I guess,
that
on your part.
Smart.
Is it weird that the path is sharp?
I think so.
It is weird, right?
Super weird.
And did you, like, the tentacles, like, pulling him down, the hands pulling him down into hell? Like, how did he escape it? Just because he was able to escape it?
Just because, yeah, and he had the energy to fight that off, but he didn't want to waste energy jumping or flying. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and he's hovering that whole time.
Yeah.
I do enjoy his, like, when he panics and how he does his swimming in the air. He always does that when he's panicking. I like that. It's funny. It's pretty funny. But he manages to get out of that situation and gets back onto Snake Way. So good job, Goku.
Good job, Goku.
Good job, Goku. Krillin at Goku and Chi-Chi's house at this point. Why did they send Krillin?
Big mistake.
Because Krillin's going to mess it up.
Krillin's going to mess it up. That thing is just literally nobody wants to be the one to tell Chi-Chi.
That's it, right?
So and he's the scapegoat.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Krillin actually didn't die doing this. Because, I mean, Krillin dies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pretty funny bit, though, right? Because I enjoy Krillin's indecisiveness and the fact that he's, like, practicing at the front door, and then Chi-Chi opens the door as he's practicing.
And all the practice was for nothing.
Yep. Goku is, he's delayed. Yeah, that's it. He's running late. Good job, Krillin.
Not a great idea lying to Chi-Chi.
Because the Ox King brought toys for Gohan, anticipating Gohan. All the food that Chi-Chi has made, anticipating Gohan and Goku coming home. So Krillin's excuse is that they're on Roshi's boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all on the boat. No phones. Good job, Krillin. You're doing such a great job lying to them. They end up making him stay for dinner and then stay the night. Is that like a cultural thing, you think?
It's gotta be.
Because that seems very weird to me.
Very over the top.
Because if I was hosting somebody and they're coming over for dinner and then it got to be too late, I'd be more of like, do you need me to call you a cab? Because it's late.
It's getting pretty late. And I'm going to bed and you are not.
You are not staying here. Not to sound ungrateful, I guess, but get out of my house.
Get out of my house.
We get to go right back to Gohan, and he's peeing on a rock.
Peeing on a rock.
Soon to be chased by a dinosaur. He does a lot of peeing in these first 3 episodes.
A lot of peeing.
And we get to witness it all for some reason. For
Yeah.
reasons great. I want to watch this kid pee, I guess.
Yes.
He gets chased by that T-Rex with the horns, whatever you want to call it. It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Of some kind or another. And he ends up escaping the dinosaur in a complete panic. And because he is so paralyzed by fear, so pushed to the edge, he has this reactionary use of his powers, right? So he doesn't know how he's using it or what he's exactly doing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what does he actually do there? Is it instant transmission?
It certainly looks like that, but you're supposed to be able to picture where you're going to do instant transmission, so it's some sort of early panic transmission.
There you go. I like that. Panic transmission. I wonder what the official explanation for that is.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, you could say it's just super speed that he
Could
was
be.
able to dash out of the way, but
Yeah.
it looked like, it sounded like, it acted like instant transmission.
Right.
So, and
Confuse that dinosaur.
it sure did. It sure did. It really did. Gohan is stranded on the top of that mountain now with seemingly no way down. We get to see this interesting little restaurant on Snake Way. Baba gets her message from Goku from that dude, which he was just like a helper demon guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Whatever. From that dude, and it's to wait a year to bring Goku back, and so Baba's gonna have to go tell Roshi this. But apparently, we find out later that she tells Korin, or does she tell Yajirobe?
She must tell Korin.
And then
I was
Korin-
going to say Yajirobe, but you said Korin first. That's got to be what it is.
So then Korin tells Yajirobe, and then Yajirobe tells...
Somehow he was the fastest way to get the message to Roshi.
Yeah, even though I'm pretty sure Baba can, do instant transmission, basically, but with, magic, right?
Or at least, doesn't she ride that damn crystal ball
Yeah.
like Nimbus?
Yeah, so I
So,
mean...
I don't know.
whatever, I guess.
Yajirobe.
Yajirobe! We get to see quickly that Goku is starving on Snake Way. He's always starving on Snake Way. He's always starving in general. Gohan is tired and cold and scared on the top of the mountain, so he's going to just lay down and go to sleep, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
But before that, Piccolo throws Gohan a couple of apples. They're sour apples because Piccolo doesn't want to be too nice. It's only been a few hours, so here's some sour apples. I didn't expect to have to help you already, kid. And how does Gohan miss Piccolo?
There's no explanation. We watched this together and just died laughing that he is 10 feet in front of him, seemingly, and maybe 6 inches up in the air from where he's standing. No excuse. He's a floating green species of a man who set you in the wilderness in the first place, and you desperately want him back in your life at this point.
Exactly. I think I said to you, the only thing that I could even think of was the Gohan in later the series wears glasses.
Right.
So maybe he's got really bad vision.
Really bad vision.
Really bad vision.
Man, you are blind as a bat. 4.5.
But like I said, Piccolo was not planning on helping Gohan out at all. But he says, if you can't survive after this, I guess I was wrong about you. So he's just gonna. Do you think that means he would let Gohan die?
Seemingly. At this point, he does not care about him enough.
Next, we get to see that dinner is done and Goku and Chi-Chi's house, and it's past Gohan's bedtime. So Chi-Chi is getting very suspicious at this point of where her husband and child are.
As she should be.
I mean, it is the 80s in Japan when this was released, so it is feasible that you would not see your family until dinner time with no contact.
Yeah.
So that's very feasible. That's understandable. But now it's past my kids. If my daughter Evelyn was out past her bedtime and I didn't know where she was, I'd be full panic mode.
Full panic mode.
Full panic mode.
Lockdown.
Locking it all down. We get to see Krillin sneaking out after he went to bed with the Ox King after they had dinner.
Yep.
And then the Ox King is like, hey, where you going, buddy? And Krillin thinks that he's busted for a split second, but Ox King's just sleep talking. Krillin is headed back to Roshi's and the gangs on Kame House's island. They just call it the island, don't they? On Roshi's Island or something?
Island.
Yeah. At Kame House, Krillin breaks the news that he didn't tell Chi-Chi that Goku is dead and that her son is in the care of Piccolo. Great job, Krillin. And they weren't very surprised. They were like, oh, come on, Krillin. Come on, buddy. What are you doing? But not only did Krillin not tell Chi-Chi the truth, he also forgot to get the Dragon Balls that are at their house. Those are necessary.
Those are necessary for the plan, Krillin.
Chi-Chi did figure out that something was going on and is now on her way in her air car with the Ox King to confront Roshi and crew.
Yep.
They're all very afraid of Chi-Chi.
Yes.
She is seemingly stronger than a lot of them,
yeah.
right? I guess it kind of plays on the stereotype that you don't want to mess with a woman scorned, right? So maybe it's a little on the sexist side, but it is a cartoon, so who cares?
Right.
But I would love to see what Chi-Chi would actually do in this situation, like if she unleashed herself on these people.
100%.
How badly would she beat these people?
Yeah, I'd love to see her power level with the Scouter.
It just keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing. So high that Raditz would even be scared, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, Chi-Chi figured something out, and she's going to go confront Roshi and crew, and she knows they are hiding something. Something. Bulma fixes that Scouter after pulling an all-nighter. Great job, Bulma. She is a genius.
She is a genius.
Pure genius. We find out that Roshi's power level is 139. Not too bad for an old guy.
Yeah.
And then Krillin's is 206. Roshi's not too happy with the fact that Krillin is stronger than him.
Yeah. Sorry, old man.
Yeah, he thinks there's something wrong with the Scouter, but Bulma tests it on Turtle.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's not the Turtle. Turtle's name is Turtle. It's Turtle. And Turtle is 0.001, so the Scouter's working fine.
Working just fine.
Did you like how he struck the fighting pose as she was like that was going to make a difference?
Yeah. That's him channeling his energy.
Yeah. So Yajirobe is there. He's your favorite dude. Your favorite non-main character dude. He's at the door, and he tells them that Krillin needs to go to Korin's tower for special training. And they need to pick up Tien and Chaozu and Yamcha as well, but no Roshi. And so Roshi's a little offended by it. Just a little offended by it, right? Just a little bit. And then he also tells them about Baba coming to tell them about not bringing Goku back for a year.
Yeah.
And then Roshi, who is Baba's brother, is like, Baba's coming here? Like, he's not too excited about it, I don't think.
Definitely not.
And Yajirobe leaves the island in his air car. It looks like he's coming back, though. And they're like, hey, Yajirobe's coming back. What's going on with that? It's Chi-Chi. And Krillin is literally fearing for his life, right?
As he probably should
As he probably should be. But Roshi says it's better to face your problems straight on. And so go ahead with that, Roshi. That's all you, buddy.
Yep. Show us that 139 power level.
Yeah, man. Roshi fills in Ox King and Chi-Chi. And Chi-Chi passes out. So I guess not that angry about things.
I guess not.
I don't know. Yep, Goku is dead. That's what Roshi says. Yep, Goku is dead.
Yep.
Give me your best Roshi. I can't do a Roshi. I tried so hard the other day.
Yeah, Goku is dead.
That's a really good Roshi.
That was random.
I'm going to try it now. Yeah, Goku is dead. No, it wasn't very good either. Yours is better. I like yours. That's good, man. Back with Gohan still stranded on that mountaintop. Like, come on, do something with your life, dude. You've been on that mountaintop for hours at this point.
Seriously.
There's a stampede of Triceratops, and Gohan asks them for help.
Yeah, why not?
Why? I guess you're never going to find out if they can help if you don't ask.
That's very true.
We get to see Goku on Snake Way, and he's still just running along. Do you like how they break into the episode to just show Goku running?
That's the funniest parts of the show.
Super serious moment. Cut to Goku running.
Cut to Goku running.
I'm hungry. Cut to super serious moment.
Yeah, did someone ask for a burger around here?
Cut to somebody dying. Nighttime on the mountain, and Gohan awakes to a cute little chippy taking his apple cores.
Aww.
And Piccolo is still hovering really near Gohan.
Yeah.
Gohan takes another pee. Thanks, Gohan. And he notices that he has a shadow, but it's not daytime. It's a full moon.
Uh-oh.
I've never seen one of those before. There's a good reason for that.
Very good reason.
So Chi-Chi knows about the transformation thing. I'm sure she saw Goku transform in Dragon Ball. That makes sense, right? And so that's why Chi-Chi is very adamant about Gohan's bedtime.
True.
Right?
Yep.
So he needs to be in bed all the time, even if it's going to be no moon out. You got to be in bed, kid.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it was avoided. Because not just pure happenstance that he would have never looked at a full moon in 4.5 years as a child.
No way.
I get it. Like the first 2 years as an infant, you're sleeping a whole lot, or for all the way until you're a 2-year-old. But still, there's a chance a full moon be like, oh, look at the full moon, little baby.
Yeah.
Giant ape.
Giant ape. Destroys the house.
I wonder how that would work as an infant changing into the giant ape. If it would still just be a maniacal, like mindless killing machine, or if it would kind of just lay there as a baby type ape.
Yeah, like an adolescent ape.
Yeah.
Just laying in a diaper.
I wonder how that would work out. I'd like to see that.
That'd be interesting.
I'd like to see that. And we hear those drums, right? I love those drums. It's like his heartbeat almost, right? And
yeah.
He's just, you can tell that something is coming, and the way his eyes, his pupils dilate. They change colors?
Yep.
It's dilating, right?
Yep.
And he's like pulsating with the thump of his heart and the drum, and then he just starts his transformation. I've always loved the transformation from the Saiyan to the Great Ape.
Definitely.
Always loved it. I thought it was really cool. Have you seen American Werewolf in Paris?
I think so.
So it's a movie from 78, 79. Forgive me if I'm wrong on those years. I shouldn't even say the years if I don't know them. But it's credited with one of the best transformations, werewolf transformations. And Kristen and I saw it maybe a year or so ago. I had seen it many years ago, but for a movie from the 70s, it really holds up. And that's what this transformation reminds me of, is that transformation in American Werewolf in Paris.
Nice.
So I really like the transformation. I think it's a cool transformation. It looks really chaotic and painful and scary.
Oh, yeah.
Just all of those things, right? Piccolo is watching this transformation also. He looks scared, like beyond scared.
Yeah.
This is insane.
This is insane.
It's just crazy powerful. The energy blasts coming from his mouth are like my favorite part of the attack as the Great Ape. It's just so cool.
Yep.
Just destroying everything and anything in its way. So Piccolo is trying to figure out how to contain Gohan in his new form, because he's just in pure panic mode at this, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the Earth to be destroyed, basically.
Right.
Good for you, dude.
Good for you, dude.
So the obvious answer is to
destroy the moon.
Of course it is, right? Why not?
When he realizes that's what he has to do.
It works, thankfully.
Yeah.
We don't need that thing anyway. And it's not the first time, it's the first time, but it's definitely not the last time the moon gets destroyed in Dragon Ball Z.
No, sir.
Definitely not. And then that's the way Piccolo figures it out. Then he knows that the moon and their tails are the key to their power. So Piccolo in that instant removes Gohan's tail and gives him clothing and a sword.
Yeah, a sword.
Just
yanks that tail right off.
Pop. Just pop right off there, right? Do you think he kept it like as a souvenir?
I hope not. Piccolo's way weirder than I thought he was.
He secretly wears it as a necklace, like underneath his clothing.
Yeah.
He's just really into it. He's like, I love this thing.
He really does care for Gohan.
He really, really does. Does Piccolo ever use that power to create matter like that again? Like to create clothing and swords and stuff?
Certainly not swords or any weaponry, but he does give Gohan later, when he's a teen, his same outfit to put on.
And he does it in the same way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't remember why Gohan... it's after the hyperbolic time chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when they have the really similar clothing, the same weighted clothing.
Yep.
Yeah. And that makes sense. So maybe he can only use it in like very specific circumstances.
Yeah.
Like only for clothing, only for textiles and metal work. That's it. So he's really good at making blankets and like wrought iron fences. He can just make them into whatever.
He has to care about you at least a little bit.
See, maybe that's the key. He has to actually care about somebody or something, and that's kind of hard to come by with Goku, with Piccolo, right?
That's very true.
The clothing is like Goku's, but it has the symbol that shows Piccolo trains Gohan. So that's another like FU to Goku. Piccolo leaves Gohan for real this time. He has his own training to do, and if Gohan can survive 6 months, then his real training will begin. Wait a second, his real training?
Yeah. Survive 6 months as a 4.5-year-old, and that's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning. That's step one, buddy. You'll be just like me. So his symbol is, Goku's is the one that he wears is the symbol for the turtle.
Yep.
The one that Tien wears is the symbol for the crane.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that Piccolo wears is the symbol for the devil. And now that you know that, and I didn't know that until, further on in my watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
You can see those pictures in the symbols because they're like the the Japanese symbols for those things is what they are. You can see those pictures, especially when you know that Piccolo's is a demon. You can really see the eyes and the mouth in the symbol. I think it's pretty cool. I wish I knew more about those Japanese symbols and stuff. That'd be cool.
And then eventually Goku has the King Kai's house.
Yes, it changes. You're right. It does change. I forgot about that. Gohan wakes up now after his transformation, and he is peeing again.
He's peeing again.
That's 3 for 3 on these episodes.
That's a little excessive with the peeing.
Yeah, not only is peeing, but we get to see his animated little wiener, which is not needed.
It certainly isn't needed.
It certainly is not needed. Gohan has a little bit of a hard time getting used to his weighted clothing, but and the fact that he's missing his tail. And that's the reason he's falling over, right? Because he's missing the tail. Not because his boots are heavy.
I don't know. It's questionable, but it's got to be him overcompensating for the loss of the tail weight is what we were thinking.
Because cats and dogs, they use their tails for balance when they're running and jumping and climbing. So it makes sense that he got used to using his tail for that.
Right.
So maybe it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, some weighted boots, some missing a tail. That would be difficult to get over.
Yeah.
Like all of a
We've
sudden,
only been walking for a couple of years at that point.
And not only that, but all of a sudden your tail's gone. Wouldn't you feel violated?
Totally.
It'd be the same as losing an arm, waking up and an arm's gone.
Yeah.
Waking up and a leg is gone.
And he notices, but not right away. It takes him, 5 minutes to notice. Where I think I'd be a straight panic. My tail!
You'd probably feel that it was gone.
You would think so.
You would think so. But he's got no time to worry about that because he's under attack. Croc from one side, Tiger, Liger, whatever guy again from the other side. Is it the same one from earlier?
I think so.
Same one from earlier. We'll go with the same one. You don't want breakfast. You don't want me for breakfast. How about a bowl of cereal instead? Good job, Gohan.
Good job.
Gohan is chased by the beasts, and he runs into a giant eagle, and it grabs Gohan and starts to fly away, inadvertently saving him. So thanks, giant eagle. I don't know how everybody didn't see that giant eagle standing there, but thanks, giant eagle. Then that giant eagle is attacked by a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
This really escalates. First it's a crocodile, then it's a saber-toothed tiger, then it's a giant eagle, now it's a pterodactyl. It just really escalates up there, doesn't it?
It does.
The escalation is, I don't know, it's supposed to be action, but you can find some comedy in that escalation.
Oh, definitely.
So the eagle ends up dropping Gohan, and I keep saying Gohan. The eagle drops Gohan because of the pterodactyl. He plummets to the ground, falling into a hole in the middle of a concave depression in the sand.
Yeah.
Is this the end? No. It's episode 9, so it's definitely not the end.
Definitely not the end.
So it's just a very weird conflagration of events. That just really all comes together to get this story to come together in some way or another, right? Once again, we get to see Goku hoofing it down Snake Way, so he's still looking for food. What's a guy got to do to get a burger around here? Pretty typical Goku stuff.
Yeah. I think that's got to be a funny English translation for that, because would he actually say that in the Japanese version, that he's craving a burger?
I wish I could remember it, because when I watch them with the subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
But the subtitles are for the direct Japanese translation, not for the English dub.
It's way off, right?
It's way off.
Because I turned it on for a little bit to try to see something, too.
It's way off, and that was one of the instances where I was watching it. I remember it didn't say anything about a hamburger.
Okay.
It hardly said anything about food. He was looking for something else.
Sure.
I don't know. It was different. So if you ever want to get really confused and try to read something different while listening to the wrong words, good luck. Good luck. Back with Gohan, and we see that he has survived his fall. Good job, Gohan.
Good job.
And he appears to be in some sort of ancient Egyptian ruins, right?
Yeah.
Egyptian,
definitely Egyptian.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about this now, and I think this is one form of proof that Dragon Ball Z takes place in our distant future, after an apocalypse, and society has been completely rebuilt from what we had. So it's completely start over society, right?
Yeah.
Gohan never really states that they look like hieroglyphs. They just look like something out of his history book.
Right.
So their society is aware that these type of ruins exist, but not to their history and to where they come from. Right?
Right.
So he's supposed to be very educated, but as a kid his age, but he's unaware of Egyptians.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. So it just kind of seems like maybe that is an explanation for that. Gohan discovers our episode's namesake, and that is the strangest robot.
The strangest robot.
We also established that the room is very unstable. Gohan wakes up the robot. We never find out exactly why he's down there. We find out that he's down there to do some excavating and stuff, but never really for what reasons.
Yeah.
Like, why is he down there exactly?
Right.
Is it for, like colleges, or what am I trying to, for educational purposes?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, or is it for, like, to loot?
It's gotta be to loot or something. A little bit of both?
Yeah. Who knows, right? So he tells Gohan to stop yelling because he's gonna bury them both if he keeps yelling, gonna cause a cave-in. And then he also tells him that there's a trail right behind him, so you can escape. You can go ahead and leave whenever you want, kid, and just make sure you put me back into standby mode before you do it.
Yep.
The trail leads to a cliff that's way too high for Gohan to jump from, at least for now. So there's seemingly no escape, and our not so friendly robot has very little interest in helping Gohan. He just wants to be in standby mode.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any interest in helping Gohan. Zero. Until Gohan butters him up a little bit. Gohan fixes the robot so that he can see, even though the robot doesn't want him to do it because it's just going to waste more power.
Yep.
Gohan explains to him that the exit is too high, but the robot tells him, you're going to have to jump down if you want to live.
If you want to live.
Jump down if you want to live.
If you want to live.
You have to jump down.
A little preview for next episode.
A little preview. Gohan asks if the robot can help him, and he says, of course, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to you.
What a jerk. Seriously, what a jerk. Like, yeah, I can help you out, but I'm not going to do it, buddy.
You punk
not
kid.
Gonna do it, buddy.
Not going to do it.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it. So, yeah, you're going to have to figure out how to survive on your own, basically. So now put me back into standby mode and leave. I've already wasted too much power helping you with all your problems. That was a very bad impression of him, but it was kind of a Britishy impression accent, right? That's what his was, kind of Britishy. That was not Britishy, what I just did. So Gohan puts the robot back into standby mode and cries about it, because that's what Gohan does.
He cries in peace.
Back on Snake Way, Goku is dreaming about food. So every time we go back to Goku, he's just dreaming about food. That's all it is.
Yep.
And he's also wondering if he can eat a cloud. Spoiler alert, you can.
You can, and he does.
Gohan is also hungry, so like father, like son, drawing the parallels between them. And now that I say that, maybe the fact that Goku just sleeps in the middle of Snake Way and Gohan just sleeps on the ground in the middle of nowhere is supposed to be a parallel?
It could be, yeah.
Maybe. It seems like a stretch.
But, yeah, father like son.
Father like son? I guess. It seems like a stretch. So our robot, Mr. Robot, the strangest robot, directs Gohan to some cave mushrooms. So that seems like a good idea.
Totally.
That's
safe.
Just some random cave mushrooms. Go ahead, kid.
That'd be the last thing I'd be trying to eat. Yeah. Seriously.
I'd have to be way hungrier than he probably is to stoop down to eating random mushrooms.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Maybe because they live in the forest, he's got some knowledge about mushrooms. Maybe.
He's pretty knowledgeable about mushrooms.
He is
that's what we are to assume.
He's a 4.5-year-old living on his own at this point.
That is true. Nothing like Mom used to make, but they're edible.
They're edible. That's right. Just to speak on that, Mr. Robot happens to be a Capsule Corp robot, so that's convenient. All robots are Capsule Corp robots, right?
I would assume.
They're like the nexus of all technology in this
world.
world.
We've never heard of like the competition.
No, maybe the competition is Dr. Gero later on.
With
the red ribbon.
The red ribbon stuff.
But he's like the smallest vestige of the Red Ribbon Army left over, So that's the only competition, and it's evil. So
very evil.
I would say Capsule Corp has a monopoly then, more than likely. Right?
Definitely.
We find out that all Capsule Corp robots have cooking capabilities, so Gohan gives the robot some nice compliments to get it to actually waste its power that it would take to cook the mushrooms. In their conversation, we find out that the robot was there to excavate the ruins. We mentioned that. But it caused the cave to fall in and all that stuff, and it's been 30 years, and Gohan decides it's time for some action, and he starts to dig the robot out. I mean, if you're worried about cave-ins, maybe don't start digging stuff up and worrying. Maybe don't do that. So obviously it causes the room to collapse. The robot, Mr. Robot, the strangest robot, thankfully manages to catch that pillar, right? and he saves the two of them, and he tells Gohan to go run up the path and jump to save himself. But Gohan can't do it because Gohan has tons of compassion, just like his father, and he runs back down the path and back into the collapsing room. And it's not out of fear this time, I don't think. It's out of compassion for the strangest robot.
The strangest robot.
Mr. Robot is what he calls him. Did you ever watch Mr. Robot with Rami Malek? I'd say it's worth watching the first season. The second season kind of lost me, and the third season was way over my head.
Sure.
The first season's really good. Yeah, he wants to save the robot also, even though he's been a pretty big jerk to him, and it's a very Gohan thing to do. The pillar does fall completely at this point, and the robot catches it, preventing it from crushing them both. And this is kind of an interesting animation because it looks like they cut some corners because it's like stop motion, like a flip book, like click, 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 he's saving it. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, but that's okay. The animation just progresses and gets even better.
Obviously.
And this animation, in comparison to American kids animation, even in the mid-90s, this still looks a lot better.
Definitely.
I remember being blown away by Dragon Ball Z's animation at the time, being like, wow, this is so detailed and so cool.
Yeah.
And it's not even nearly as detailed as the stuff that's on TV now. It's not even close. It's not even close. So Gohan, with some instructions from the robot, rewires the robot, giving him full power. The robot's able to dislodge the pillar that's blocking the path, and then chucks Gohan out that hole across the gorge while the room collapses completely. And Gohan just screams, "Mr. Robot!" Gohan goes and finds him, and we get a few final words from Mr. Robot, the strangest robot. The strangest robot.
When you keep saying that, it makes you think of Dr. Chase Meridian.
Dr. Chase Meridian. Go back to that episode, folks. Batman Returns. That was a good... No, Batman...
Returns.
It was Batman Returns, right?
Yep.
Dr. Chase... No.
Yeah, that's Nicole Kidman.
She was in the one with Val Kilmer, though.
Right. Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. Sorry, folks. Batman Forever.
Dr. Chase Meridian.
That one was in stereo, even though the podcast is in mono. So. The few final words we get from Mr. Robot, you'll have to learn to take care of yourself. Everybody says that. I just said that like the most Midwesterner person ever. You have to learn to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself, dear.
Take care of yourself.
Don't forget a bag.
So you have to learn to take care of yourself, Gohan. And that's a very heavy theme in these first few episodes. Take care of yourself, you 4-year-old.
You 4-year-old.
Be strong. No more standby mode. It's time for me to shut down. And Mr. Robot's dead. Sorry,
He's
Mr. Robot.
Dead.
And Gohan has new resolve now, right?
Yes, he does.
He really took his words to heart. I don't know if I can make it, but I'll try. I will try. The tears rolling down his face as he confidently strides into the future. Inspirational. I like that a lot. So we're all the way to episode 10 now, if you can believe it or not.
Whoa.
And Gohan is a completely new person at this point, right? He's fending for himself. He got his fish. All of this stuff in this episode especially is a direct homage, I believe, to Dragon Ball.
Sure.
Gohan looks like Goku.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Gohan is doing all the things that Goku did, which is basically just living in a forest and getting large fish and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And helping out whatever happens to happen in the episode. You know, he's helping out a dinosaur in this one.
Right.
So it's just a very good homage to Dragon Ball, I think.
Helping out a dinosaur with something he learned from Goku.
Right, which is super duper cool.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot. It is really cool to see Gohan coming into his own. I like it. Finally, he's not a crybaby this whole time anymore, which is I appreciate greatly.
I don't think we catch him peeing in this episode.
No, that's the end of the peeing. Thank goodness.
Yay.
No more peeing in front of everybody. Thank goodness. And one big tell, too, is when he's gathering those fruits and nuts in the beginning of that episode, how he is confronted by that snake in the tree, and he just picks up the snake and just moves it out of the way and just goes on about his business.
Yeah, because in day one of the first things is the snake around his neck, and he freaks out.
Yep, he just freaks out completely. It's time for him to hurry back, though. Time for Gohan to hurry back because of a thunderstorm. That's a good reason to get out of being outside.
Yeah.
Reminiscing on the boy he used to be, but still using the experience to make himself a bandage. I really, like you said, he makes that bandage that he learned from Goku, but he's also reminiscing on who he used to be.
Yeah.
So he really has some perspective on who he is, who he has become, and who he was.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that. It's cool to see that.
I wish I knew who I was at 4.5.
Yeah, man. I don't even remember 4.5. He's definitely wiser and more confident at this point, and we totally get that now.
Yep.
But quickly we see some ominous glowing eyes behind Gohan as he works in the cave. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Flash to a baseball game and the introduction of Yamcha in Dragon Ball Z. I love this scene.
Oh, yeah.
Super fun.
It's super fun.
For some reason, maybe it's just because of me being an American, whenever baseball is in something from a different country, I'm like, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is funny. And his team name is the Titans,
yes.
but it's T-A-I.
So it's
T-A-N-S.
like Thai, like Thailand, like
Yeah.
the Titans.
The Titans.
I like that a lot. Very good.
Taekwondo.
Plus, I really like the idea of Yamcha, like, basically being the best player in the league, and he doesn't have to try at all.
He's hit 3 solo homers already.
Yeah, he's got little interest in the game
Can
whatsoever.
he keep up the streak? Like, I'm pretty sure he can, actually.
He literally says, it's too easy. I'm a fighter, not a ball player.
Yeah.
Like, I love that about this. But the fight that breaks out because of the two hits batsmen, and Yamcha is giddy with excitement. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah. Do you think he ever tries to cover up his skill, or is he just like batting 1,000 and he's broken every record imaginable?
I think the way they treat him, for the fact that they were going to give him a 20,000 zenny bonus, which seems like to them a lot of money, I think he's just the best of the best.
He's the best of the best, but he threatens them with like, I won't hit it if you don't pay me or whatever, make it worth my time.
I think that's exactly what he does. So not only, I guess I don't know how Japanese baseball's payment structure was in the 80s, but I'm assuming he's getting paid something for appearing, right?
Right.
And he's got to demand these on-the-spot bonuses.
Yeah.
He does easily beat everyone up, and Puar does warn him to take it easy. So he does kind of take it easy.
And he's super giddy.
And he's literally beating up everybody.
Everybody.
Doesn't matter if you're on the same team
Doesn't
or not.
matter if you're his teammate or not. Nope.
And all of a sudden, Krillin's there.
And Krillin's there. He's on the field.
Hey, Krillin.
Dressed in his martial arts stuff.
He just walked on
figured, there's a big scuffle and all this sand and smoke here, so I figured I could get away with this, conversation about we need to get back to Korin's place.
He literally fills them in the middle of the fight while Yamcha is still fighting people, right? Still fighting people. Yeah. Boy. I think it's one of the funnier moments of these episodes.
Oh, for sure.
He fills them in, and Bulma and Yamcha have a little bit of a reunion.
Yep.
Which doesn't really go too well. We found out they broke up because he stood her up on a date, right?
Yeah.
No, she stood him up on a date. He had tickets, and she didn't want to go, so she asked somebody else. He asked somebody else to go.
Oh, okay.
Is that what it was? I wish I
couldn't
could remember.
I thought he stood her up.
That would make more sense.
I think that's what Puar says. She's still mad that you stood her up.
Yeah, and then
he had some excuse for it.
Baseball tickets, and then he brought a different girl. Yeah. She didn't want to go. Oh, romantic drama.
Screwed that up.
Way to go, Yamcha. Korin wants them all to train. You don't have to tell Yamcha twice. He's definitely on board.
He's on board.
Back on Snake Way, and Goku is still running.
Shocker. Spoiler.
Back with Gohan in his cave, and those eyes belong to a dinosaur.
A
dinosaur. The same dino that Gohan wakes up next to the next day, which is kind of funny. It scares Gohan, but he can't leave the sword behind, so he's got to go back into that cave to get it.
Yep.
It turns out, though, that dino is severely injured with that stick in its side. It's like, that's a branch.
And it's in there.
That's not good. Gohan helps him out by pulling it out and bandaging it up the same way that he was taught by Goku.
Yep.
He found a giant leaf to do it with.
A giant leaf.
So great. I mean, using those skills. Good job, Gohan. Gohan feeds the dino and cares for him as he heals. And our unfriendly T-Rex, he's nearby, and that can't be good, right?
That definitely can't be good.
That cannot be good. Gohan wants to keep his new dino friend as a pet. I love his little fantasy that he has about that. He's very excited. I love how it's drawn like in kids' crayon stuff. I think that's pretty darn fun. He notices that he has become beefy, in his words. That's what he says. He says, beefy.
Beefy.
And then he jumps hundreds of feet to the forest floor because he has got to try it sometime.
Got to try it sometime.
And he lands it. Way to go, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He lands it. Looks like it wasn't exactly pain-free, but he lands it.
Yeah, he lands it.
So after that, naturally, it's time to test his strength out, so he's going to punch a boulder. Doesn't break the boulder at first, and so Gohan's a bit disappointed because his dad would have turned that boulder into rubble at his age. So he starts to walk away, right? But it starts to crack anyways. Good job, Gohan. Gohan returns to his friendly little dinosaur, and he's getting brutally eaten. Just brutally eaten. Brutally beaten and eaten. Well, Gohan can't stand for that, so he's going to try his best, and ultimately Gohan gets knocked out. There was a fun bit of action. He really went for it. He didn't care about what was going on. He definitely went for it, but seemed like he was a little bit, I think, easily defeated. He's pretty unexperienced still, but I would think that he would be able to hold his own, maybe a little bit more than just a quick knock on the head and being out.
Yeah, he's never swung a sword before. Piccolo just made this for him.
True. But. Very true. Very, very true. And because Gohan's knocked out, his new dino pal gets eaten by that T-Rex. So poor guy.
Cleaned. Yes. Just to the bone.
That's very brutal. And Gohan wakes up the next day to see that.
Ouch.
So Gohan learns that some things are out of his control and that survival of the fittest is a real thing.
Definitely.
That's what he learned out of that. Like, okay, I guess I got to move on with my life even though my friend was brutally eaten to death.
Yeah.
What a way to die. What a way to die. Gohan wakes up the next day, and it's time for breakfast. He has completely changed into a new kid at this point. He's completed his transformation into this new Gohan. He's running, jumping, sliding down the mountain. He easily gets his fill of berries after punching the tree, right? Or does he kick the tree? He punches the tree. Punches the tree, easily gets his fill of berries, and our not-so-friendly T-Rex shows up again, and Gohan greets him. Hey, nice morning, isn't it? You look hungry. So definite change in attitude towards and we don't really know how much time has passed between his friend being eaten to death and in this day. I would assume it's not too long. It's within 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I'm almost 5 now.
I'm almost 5 now, buddy. And of course the chase is on, but this time Gohan seems completely in control.
Oh yeah.
Just completely in control. He dodges. He anticipates the attacks from the T-Rex. And it looks like it's going to be tail steak for breakfast. Yum, yum, yum. Would you like some tail steak?
No, thank you.
No tail steak for you?
No tail steak.
One giant cartoon slice of tail to put on a fire?
I mean, they make it look kind of delicious like they do in most cartoons, but no.
It does look semi-delicious.
Yeah.
And it's obvious, too, that this is not the first time that Gohan has had tail steak for breakfast.
Obviously.
His tail is very small. You won't have much of a tail left if you keep this up, Gohan even says. Very small. And we also see that Gohan has gained the ability to use energy attacks without any training whatsoever, which is cool. How do you just
sweet.
Figured out how to do it?
Yeah.
And starts the fire. I like that. Next, we get to see Vegeta, and he's getting awoken from his sleep because they're getting close to a planet named Arlia. And he gets woken up by, mist. Like the computer's even like, here's your awake mist, Vegeta.
Like the calmest way to wake him up possible.
Just
a little mist.
Yeah, what do you think it smelled like? Like lavender and lilacs? It must have smelled good at least, right? It woke him up. Krillin, Bulma, and Yamcha are out looking for Tien before they can go train with Kami. Vegeta wakes up Nappa. Nappa, are you awake? I thought we would make a stop and stretch our legs a bit. Planet Arlia is around here, and maybe we can sell it.
That sounds good.
So they go to Arlia, I guess.
I guess.
Let's head on over there. I love how they think the place is a dump. They're just like, man, this place kind of sucks, dude.
Yeah.
They get caught by the residents of Arlia riding giant bugs. Well, they surrender. It's an express trip to the leader, basically.
Basically.
Way to go, guys. Next, we get to see Launch. We mentioned Launch in our last DBZ episode. It's a fun car chase for the episode. She kills a bunch of cops in it, just pulls out that RPG and just blasts them.
Just blasts them. The weirdest RPG ever.
It definitely is. Plus, I love her Moto unicycle.
Yeah.
Well, what's not to love about that
Seriously.
thing? She got away with the money, and she's going to use it on Tien. She loves Tien.
I guess,
right?
Certainly.
I did a little bit of research into it, and she is apparently obsessed with Tien and in love with him, and Tien has very little interest in her.
Very little
interest in her, because I bet Tien and Chaozu might be a little bit more than friends.
Yeah.
Because Chaozu's an adult. He's not a child. He's an adult. But
yeah.
Who knows, Tien?
I don't know.
Maybe he's enjoying June. Who knows? Back at Arlia, and Nappa and Vegeta have arrived at the capital. Arlians, however you want to say that, they love swords.
They love them swords.
They really do. DBZ early on is very sword heavy.
Very sword heavy.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Do you think people just needed a tangible weapon to take it more seriously?
Basically. And they never have anyone who's good at martial arts have a gun, That's only for earthlings and whatever. So.
Yeah, if you have a gun in Dragon Ball Z, you're going to get your butt kicked.
You're going to get
every
your butt
time,
kicked,
right? Because everybody in the Z fighters are bulletproof.
Yeah, they can catch you bullets. They throw them at you.
They can catch you bullets. They can do it. No doubt about that. Nappa and Vegeta allow themselves to be imprisoned. Why do you think they decided to go as far as allowing themselves to be imprisoned? Why not, as soon as they get there, just wreck up the place?
I don't know. Just they're so confident that they're going to destroy these guys in whatever fashion they want. They're just bored. Let's have some fun.
I bet you that's a reasonable explanation.
Let's see what they got. Maybe they're looking for a bug cocoon.
Maybe they were hoping for a meal.
Maybe.
Who knows? In that prison cell, we do learn about Limlia and Atlas. What do they call him? It's not Atlas. What do they call him?
I forget the dude at the way in.
Yeah, they say his name. Atla.
Atla.
We learn about Limlia and Atla. It's a lovely stolen love B plot, right? A little B plot action. Give it a little something or other.
It's something.
It is something.
It's something.
And they share matching gold bracelets. How sweet.
How sweet.
Good job. We get to see a little bit of a fight in front of the king of Arlia, and Gregor lost, and so he's going to get thrown in the pit because he lost that fight, and a giant, really big bug person from Arlia lives in that. His name is Yeti. Great, Yeti. He's just a really big bug person.
Yeah.
Do you think they have bug cocoons on this planet? They got it, right?
I guess there's a bug cocoon or two.
A bug cocoon or two.
A little bummed we didn't get to see one. But
we should have. That would have been better. I would have
loved
some
cocoon.
Good bug cocoons. Vegeta and Nappa show up, and they are unescorted from the dungeon. So the king is like, what?
What?
They killed all the guards, and it's the king's turn now. So the king sends his best warriors to take on the two Saiyans to very little effect.
Very little effect.
Right? They just try sword. No, it's the one dude at the beginning, and Vegeta just blows his head off with two-finger energy blast.
Yeah.
He's dead. So that guy got his head blown off. And then Nappa says, you say it. I want you to say it.
I guess that makes you the new champion, Vegeta.
Then you can say the next one, too.
Come on, your highnessness. Bring us your cricket brigade.
Come on, Nappa. You're the best. I love me some Nappa. Really, Nappa is great comic relief.
He is. How does Eternal Life sound? That's my favorite. Live forever? It sounds great. No structure to that at all. Just sure, I'll keep destroying planets for the rest of my life.
Yes. That's all he wants to do, and he's happy to do it.
He's happy to do it.
He's just a working stiff.
He's a working stiff.
The king reveals that his cricket brigade, they have energy techniques as well. Doesn't matter, though. Nappa and Vegeta easily withstand the attacks from the warriors, and they shoot it out of their mouths, I guess. Mouth shots, why not?
Yep.
Nappa just vaporizes them.
He
just charges up his energy, stands there and screams, which...
As they watch.
Well, yeah, and that's a fairly common theme.
Yeah.
I do like that they have really limited it now in the later parts of the series, and especially in Super, they really limit the screaming.
Yeah.
But in the middle of DBZ, there's a lot of screaming.
There's a lot of screaming. And eventually they're powerful enough that if they are ascending to some new form, there's nothing you can do to stop it.
No,
basically. But at this point it's not one Arlian bug threw a sword in his back there. I don't know. Vegeta would have blasted his face off anyway. Yeah. But still, none of them even tried. This is scary but cool.
That's what it is. They just thought it was really cool. So I want to watch that.
Maybe I can learn to do this.
with everybody. I don't know why I didn't vaporize everybody in their Coliseum, but the king he says, release Yeti, hurry before it's too late. Yeti, destroy these creatures. They're bad, very bad.
We're bad?
A little. The best line of the series. A little. Vegeta's just like, it's a cool fight. I do like Yeti's, his energy attacks, the red beam that he shoots that is just basically knocking everything down.
Yeah.
I want to know, though, how Nappa rips off Yeti's finger. The physics of it, he's obviously strong enough to do it.
Right.
But Yeti is trying to, punch at him, and Nappa's trying to pull, maybe Yeti's pulling his hand away at that time.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to me.
It seems weird.
Any way you do it, Nappa gets some bug juice on his face and he tastes it. Great.
That is for sure. That's the weirdest part of these 6 episodes.
It is one of the weirder parts, isn't it? Yum. Delicious.
Who knows what that could do to you?
Right. And then Nappa just basically turns around and blasts Yeti
and
vaporizes him completely. Yep. That's it. And then Vegeta kills the king. Kind of weirdly, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He uses his mind to throw some rocks at him that happen to be green. And then the king falls across his throne. And then half the throne falls on his head. And then he's dead?
Yeah.
And then he's dead.
Seems very un-Vegeta.
It just seems like there should have been one more... Vegeta going over there and ripping his arms off and then blasting his head off or something. But there wasn't.
Well, he already knew what he was planning to do here in a little bit.
It's very possible. Vegeta does call the pods back over, and Atla heralds Vegeta and Nappa as heroes for freeing the people of Arlia. I'm going to say that wrong for the rest of my life. And Vegeta and Nappa could literally care. They could not care any less.
No, they could not.
Great.
Cool.
And then as they're leaving, Atla says, farewell, my friends. You will always be welcomed here on Arlia. And the Saiyans leave in their pods because that's all they really care about.
Yeah.
Not before, though. Oh, we get to see Atla and Limlia's reunion, right? They love each other so much.
So much.
They're
it's
literally,
so sweet.
they're literally about to embrace, and then Vegeta destroys the whole planet. Just
destroys it.
Destroys the whole planet. This planet has a serious bug problem. Zappy.
That's a great line too.
Vegeta and Nappa continue their trip to Earth and hopefully get the Dragon Balls. Immortality? Sign me up, right? So I gotta ask. I did talk about this a little bit with you before. Is Vegeta's ability to destroy a planet outside of what his power range should be at this point?
It kind of seems like it.
Yeah,
it seems like he shouldn't be that powerful yet. But I guess we'll get back to that when he first fights Goku. Because I think we'll get more of a. He'll at least read Goku's power level. We know they're about even-ish. Yep. So then we'll decide then for sure, but it does seem like a little out of the scope of abilities for him right now.
It does, and Piccolo does destroy the moon. I mean, that's definitely a much smaller object than the whole planet of Arlia.
True. I didn't think about that, though.
But still, it still seems out of Piccolo's scope. Although he does demonstrate in this next episode that he can potentially, cause the Earth to split in half.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I don't know. It just seems like later on in the series, looking at this from having watched the whole series, they weren't powerful enough at certain parts later on to do things that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like it might be a little bit out of their scope.
You'd have to imagine then that they're always holding themselves back in every fight.
Right.
Because if he had the ability this early to just easily destroy the planet, how does he, restrain himself from doing that in the future just from a normal energy blast or something?
Yeah, as soon as you got behind in the fight, you just be like, zap, destroy the planet.
I'm going to do it enough to hurt you but not destroy the planet. I don't know, it's too much thinking. That's going to mess with your techniques. No.
There is a little bit of nobility among the Saiyans, right? Not over fighting your opponent to make it competitive.
True.
Competitive, but still. It still feels like it should be out of his scope at this point.
Agreed.
Any way you look at it, though, Arlia is gone.
It's gone.
See you later, Arlia.
No more bug gun.
No more bug gun. So next, we see Gohan sleeping on the ground again. And that's all this kid does.
That's all this kid does. Sleep on the ground and pee.
Yeah, he didn't pee this time,
though. He didn't pee this time.
At least he didn't pee this time. He's having dreams of his father and about his attack on Raditz. But it's time to get some breakfast. Goku is still on Snake Way, and he's gotta find King-Kai. Gotta find King-Kai. Krillin and Bulma are still looking for Tien, and we see Tien training. Withstanding the force of the water, that's training.
I guess.
Using his mind to stop and control the water.
I mean, yeah,
that's training.
That's some training.
Lots of telepathic stuff goes on in this first season.
Definitely. Yes.
They still definitely use those things later on, but it's very heavy on mind control stuff, it seems like now. Which, great, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference. It just is noticeable to me now. It's just very noticeable. And then finally, Launch firing her gun into the air, which is something that she loves to do. Says it's lunchtime. Launch said it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
And it's a real spread. She hired all these cooks and everything, right? It's all with the ill-gotten gains, though, and Tien doesn't seem to be too happy about that.
No.
We also learned that Goku is Tien's main competition, and if you had watched Dragon Ball, you would know that they were main enemies for much of the series.
Mm-hmm.
But that is why Tien trains. He doesn't know anything of what's going on with Goku or the impending doom of the Saiyans coming in 1 year. He just knows that he wants to beat Goku.
Yep.
So it's a very similar. He was Vegeta before Vegeta was Vegeta.
Yeah.
At least in this story.
Right.
Launch wants Tien to rob some banks with her because they'd be unstoppable. But Tien is very, very small. He has no interest in it, basically. He wants to be a good dude, right? That's all he wants to do. I'm going to be a good guy. We see Goku on Snake Way, and he runs into the Snake Way sweeper because King Yama likes to keep it clean up there. Or down there, I should say.
Yeah.
We learned from the sweeper dude that Goku is only a quarter of the way there, and that's very defeating to Goku. He can't believe that he's only made it a quarter of the way. So Sweeper Dude ends up being Goku's Falcor and is going to give him a ride all the way to the halfway point, which 5,000 miles is better than no 1,000 miles.
That is very, yes, I agree.
Should cut down on the time at least. Piccolo is training, and his next training involves lifting the pyramids.
Yeah.
Let's lift some pyramids up. And this is another point to why DBZ might take place in the distant future.
Yeah.
Because nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
There's no people around being like, what are you doing to the pyramids of ancient Egypt?
And that was something we talked about, too, is it's almost desolate everywhere. That isn't just your normal, the populated city area that they live by. It's like everywhere on planet Earth. There's no indigenous people anywhere, just dinos and random-ass prehistoric
And if you do see somebody out in the wilderness, they're by themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
There's nobody around, and they completely live off the land by themselves.
Totally off the grid.
And plus, the topography of Earth is drastically different than ours, with the weird pillars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So whatever we did to destroy ourselves, it was cataclysmic.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely changed the way everything works in the world, basically. Yeah. And then to another point, if we are to believe that Gohan was in basically an ancient Egyptian ruins in a previous episode, and now Piccolo is levitating pyramids, does Dragon Ball Z take place in what was once Africa?
Yeah, definitely confusing.
Or is this just where Piccolo goes to train?
Right.
So if he can fly as fast as he does, it shouldn't take him too long to get from where we would consider to be Japan to over to Africa.
True.
It should be fairly quick, but still, it makes it feel like at least where Piccolo is stationed is Africa.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely drastically different, so I'm sticking with it. Distant future,
Distant
Dragon
future.
Ball Z. Gohan has made great progress even further in his training and is no longer the prey in the wilderness. I love that he now chases the T-Rex.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Tien is still working on that waterfall.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. It's cool. Piccolo is still lifting up pyramids and destroying the Earth's crust in the process, causing giant fissures, crumbling the pyramids. Then Piccolo literally goes, "That's not good," and then flies out of there. He's like, "I'm out of here."
He's outie.
This wasn't me. Piccolo is having a hard time controlling his power. At least that's what he says.
Yeah.
I'd say so, right? I mean, Earth is crumbling before his feet,
Definitely.
underneath his feet. And it's even affecting things miles and miles and miles away, like Gohan falling into a bottomless crevasse. Poor guy. And is that the end of Gohan? No, it's not the end of Gohan, but he certainly fell for a while there. And Tien has to save Launch because the waterfall is collapsing and water is shooting out everywhere now because of what Piccolo. That's not how you say his name. Piccolo. Good thing he trained on stopping that water with his brain.
Yeah.
And that power spike from Tien protecting Launch allows Bulma to locate them finally on her modified scouter. So that's good.
That is good.
Gohan barely escapes the crevasse as the tectonic plates come back together. Launch sneezes and switches personalities, and she plans on going back to Turtle House at this point. So obviously the two different versions of Launch have completely different ideas of what they want to do with their lives.
Yeah.
And that's very fine with Tien. He's like, okay, great. I get to finally do some training.
Yeah.
Thank
Get the
goodness.
heck out of here.
She's not really welcome there in her other form, it seems. So, like, what's her deal?
I don't know.
What is her deal? Why does she love Tien so much?
Yeah, why is she under this misconception that he's interested? He never shows her any interest.
It's almost like she won't, like, her personality doesn't allow her to take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Which is, you're going to get Me Too'd there, Launch. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So Launch finds a field of flowers and rolls around in them because that's what you do, right? Then it causes her to sneeze, and she transforms back into her more rambunctious form. She ends up right back at that waterfall. You won't get away from me! And just firing those guns in the air. Absolutely love that. Bulma and Krillin show up in their air car, and Launch is once again firing guns at stuff. Just shoot it, ask questions later. Bulma and Krillin tell Tien about Goku, and Tien is instantly on board. He's like, yeah, I'll help you guys save the day. Let's go train. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Back on Snake Way, and guess what? Goku is going to hell.
He's going to hell.
I love how this episode ends where he's unknown. He doesn't know where he's at this point.
Right.
And he's just kind of following his nose to what is delicious fruit of some kind, golden peaches.
Yeah.
That's about all I could think of it. And then he gets smacked on the head. And I love the way that this episode ends. Goku goes off the beaten path and gets beaten. But by who? Roll credits.
Roll credits. The cliffhangers.
The cliffhangers. So final opinions on these episodes that we did today, Trav?
You know, when I watched them in succession, I thought this was going to be kind of a weaker watch. But when you watch these 6, they're pretty good episodes. They're pretty fun. There's some humor in them. You get some character building. We find out who Yamcha is, Tien, and all. At least if you haven't watched Dragon Ball, you're seeing these people for the first time.
Yep.
So, and obviously the humor with him on Snake Way, but you get a little bit of the Dragon Ball Z fatigue that you always get, like, how the hell is he still not there? And then he's only a quarter of the way, and then he drives a halfway. And spoiler alert, it takes 6 more episodes before he gets to the end of Snake Way. But I love it. It's Dragon Ball Z. I can't really complain too much. What about you?
No, I can't complain either. And these episodes are as close to what you would consider like slice of life episodes that you get from Dragon Ball. They're not like traditionally like true slice of life episodes because like the action wouldn't happen if they were. Right. But it's as close as Dragon Ball Z gets to it. And I like that. I like that form of anime. I like those movies. Like Studio Ghibli stuff is like all slice of life basically. You know? And that stuff's fun. It's fun to see like how these characters kind of live outside of the extreme action and peril that they get put into almost every episode. You know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate these episodes. Are they as exciting as I like them to be when I watch Dragon Ball Z? No.
Yeah.
But they're still good. I still enjoy them. Good. They're still fun. They're still worth watching, and you get a lot of the story that helps you piece everything together later on and helps you understand who these characters are. So I appreciate that out of these 6 episodes for sure.
And we got a strong 6 coming up next.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for it. So I'm going to assume you liked it.
I liked it. I did like it.
I liked it too. So why don't we move on over to that homework assignment, huh?
Let's do it.
So we are doing 1987's The Running Man.
Boom. Back to the bread and butter of the show, something I have not seen. So this will be homework for me. True homework.
And you're going to love it.
Oh, yeah. I bought it months ago in preparation for this.
Nice. This one was directed by Paul Michael Glazer, screenplay by Stephen E. De Souza, based on The Running Man by Stephen King as Richard Bachman. He did it under a pen name. Produced by George Linder and Tim Zinnerman. Zinnemann. Zinnemann. That's a lot of N's. Zinnemann. Tim Zinnemann. I got it right for you, Tim. I know you're a listener. Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, yay, as Captain Benjamin Ben Richards. Richard Dawson, gotta love you some Richard Dawson.
Oh, yeah.
As Damien Killian, that's quite the name. Demon Killer, right?
Damon Killer?
Damon Killian. Maria Conchita Alonso as Amber Mendez. Jesse Ventura, I ain't got time to bleed.
Blue.
As William Bond. Jim Brown as Fireball. So there's a connection between Mars Attacks and this movie. Little Jim Brown action.
There we go.
Erlen Van Lidith. There's not enough vowels in that name. As Dynamo. Marvin J. McIntyre as Harold Weiss. And Gus Rathwish as Eddie Buzzsaw Vatowski. Professor Toro Tanaka as Professor Sub-Zero. Mick Fleetwood as Mick, so that's Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. And Dweezil Zappa as Stevie, and that is Frank Zappa's son, Dweezil. If you're a child of the 90s, you should know who Dweezil Zappa is, because he was in all types of stuff, on TV, on MTV, all that stuff. Music by Harold Faltermeyer. The production companies were Brave World Productions and Taft Entertainment Pictures. Distributed by TriStar Pictures. Its release date was November 13th, 1987 in the United States. Its budget was $27 million. Its box office was $38.1 million. That is $101.7 million in 2023. Good job. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'll take that out of a mindless action movie.
For sure.
So I'm really excited to get to this. It's a childhood favorite movie of mine. It's just, I love this movie.
I think this is like way back when we were first starting. One of the first movies you suggested we have to get to Running Man at some point.
It's American Gladiators with death.
Nice.
I can't wait.
Death.
It's great. It's totalitarian governments. It's set in the future. There's lasers and electricity and death. Death. Gotta love it.
Sounds awesome.
Trav, will you hit me with those emails?
Let's get to the emails. So our first email is kind of like an email we got a while ago. We had someone ask us what movie deserves like the reboot sequel treatment, and this one's close. The Bearded Man Lives On wants to know, what is a bad movie that you'd like to see get a remake?
A bad movie to get a remake.
Give it another shot. A different director, a different crew of actors.
Bad. You know what? It was widely considered to be a bad movie, and I kind of like it. It's not great, but Kevin Costner's Waterworld, if you could do, because it was at the time like one of the biggest budget movies ever made.
Sure.
If you could do that again with modern actors and like really flesh out that idea with one of the largest budgets you could even think of possible, I think it would be absolutely epic.
Yeah.
It's a movie that I like enough as it is, but it's not that great. So, but I think Waterworld would be my answer.
And that's 80s, 90s?
90s. Probably 96, 95, right in that sweet spot, you know.
Nice. I wrote Double Dragon.
Oh, yeah. That movie's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, definitely. One that I watched way too many times as a kid, but rewatched somewhat recently. I was like, wow, this movie is bad. And they've given Mortal Kombat another shot, and I like the remake of that.
Yeah.
They tried with Street Fighter, and I don't think it worked, but they should again.
Yes.
But, I mean, martial arts, and, I'm down for a Double Dragon remake.
Heck yeah. Could you work that into the Super Mario Brothers universe that has now been established?
That'd be cool.
You could work it in,
That'd
right?
That'd be cool. They just do a whole Nintendo universe or something.
Yeah.
Like
Would
that.
you like it to be animated, or would you like it to be live action?
I'd like it to be live action.
Live action. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that, Trav. I think that would be great.
Yeah. There's potential there.
There is potential.
Next email comes from Conventional Elemental. Wants to know, if we could control any element, what would it be?
Fire. Fire. Fire.
I think if it comes to being able to produce it as well, fire's the obvious
Fire's
answer.
the obvious answer.
For show. Be doing fire. But if it's not producing, I picked water. Because then I wouldn't have to be deathly afraid of the ocean or anything.
Oh, I like it. So if you can produce it, it's fire. If you can only control it, I think I'd choose earth.
Okay, that's pretty sick, too.
I think I would choose earth, because then you could, create stuff.
You could create stuff, raise land.
Yeah.
Like, if you're stuck in the water, you just raise the bottom.
Raise land up,
yeah.
Don't like your neighbors, just raise your house up.
Just raise the house up. Can't afford a fence, just raise the landscape.
Just raise up the house.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Next one's from Jackie Lee's Bruce Chan. Wants to know our favorite martial arts weapon.
Favorite martial arts weapon.
If you could be insanely skilled with any martial arts weapon, what would you pick?
I choose bow staff because it looks cool as hell.
It does look cool as hell, and it looks so cool that's what I picked too. Because bow staffs, we're gonna try not to swear. I almost said something. Bow staff is the shiz. We'll say that. But I love me the bow staff, and. Dwight in the office with the bow staff.
Yeah.
We got Donatello with the bow staff.
Yeah.
They use it in the Mortal Kombat TV show they did, and I loved that. I just love me some bow staff. It's cooler than just chopping someone in half for me. Maybe a sword's more practical to save your life, but you don't look nearly as cool as you do with a bow staff.
You'll never look as cool as you do with a bow staff.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
My last one here is just a question from me to Drew. If you could have anyone's moveset from Dragon Ball Z from top to bottom, who would it be?
Moveset from top to bottom. So
we've talked about our favorite technique in the last Dragon Ball Z and our favorite characters, but if you could have anyone's group of moves, who would it be?
So, I'm going to choose a villain.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Frieza because of the multiple transformations that he can do. And his, subdued, he's so super powerful that he just doesn't have to try very hard.
True.
Ultimately, he's not as powerful as Goku. But I think his moveset, I like how, elegant and cool it is, and how, he's just I'm going to kill you.
He definitely has his very own distinct moves, too. That's where Goku shares some moves. A lot of the Z fighters share some moves with each other and stuff. So, yeah, I like that. Now that you say that, Cell's probably a great option because he has everybody's moves, but that's cheating.
No Cell.
Even though he's a main, I picked Goku. Basically because of instant transmission.
Oh,
that's not only super useful, but it's badass. I'm sorry. And then he's got all the cool, Kamehameha, Kaioken, all sorts of stuff like that. I did put honorable mention as Piccolo because he can regenerate his body parts.
He does.
Which is also pretty cool, and he only needs water to survive.
That's it. I forgot about that.
So
he only needs water to survive. And the sun, right? He needs the sun and the water. Or is it just the water?
Water to survive probably needs daylight.
Probably. For some reason, I wanted to say that that's probably way wrong. So, never mind.
But that wraps up the show for us. Thanks for listening as always. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Overdue Homework Podcast. And as always, don't forget to tune in to the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z on the Overdue Homework Podcast.